Hey guys, let's get straight to the point. Today's video is going to be super simple because I'm just showing you my favorite recipe on the Ricoh GR3. Yes, I recently got a Ricoh GR3 for myself. I had the Ricoh GR2 before. I love that camera, so that now I have the Ricoh GR3. I'll probably make another video talking about why I got this camera and how much I love this so far. And this recipe is what I consider as I don't really need to edit the photos after when I get home. I always prefer having the image straight out of the camera if I can do it without editing the photos, so I don't need to do it afterwards. And also I would love to see the images the way that I prefer in camera, not only for myself but for my friends and family and clients. So that's why I always prefer having a recipe or a preset or the settings that I like in camera to get the JPEGs that I like. Don't get me wrong, I love editing raw photos, but it's just too much work, especially if you have a camera that you carry around every day like the GR3. I've taken like almost 1,000 photos within the last week or 2 weeks. So it'll be crazy if I try to edit all the photos after on my computer. So that's why I have this set up. And I'm gonna show you guys photo samples throughout this video, and let's jump straight into the recipe first. I'll probably put it up on the screen so you can just copy the settings and try it out when you are using your GR3. I have this recipe inspired by basically me editing the photos, the raw photos that I first got from the GR3 on my Mac computer. As you might know already, if you have seen my videos before, I don't use Lightroom or Capture One or any software that I have to pay. I'm really cheap on that. I use the Photos app on my Mac computer. It's actually a pretty powerful photo editing software that you can edit raw photos. I've talked about it in the past and definitely checked out the videos. The recipe actually makes the photos more vibrant and also a little bit more film-like, at least to me, because on the GR3, for whatever reason, especially when I was testing out the negative film simulation, not any recipe, just a film simulation, I found that the colors are a little bit more on the magenta side for whatever reason. At least during daytime, I was using auto white balance. I always prefer using auto white balance, and I didn't shift any white balance, and it turns out the photos are quite magenta. So let me see if I can pull up the photos so I can show you guys what I meant by having the photos really magenta-y looking without having the recipe. Alright, so this is one of the first photos that I've taken using the negative film simulation, not the recipe. And to me, it looks okay. It's really muted, probably because the negative film simulation on the Ricoh GR3 is quite muted itself. And I found that I add in a lot of saturation and some contrast and make it a little bit pop than what's straight out of the camera using a negative film simulation. And let me show you how the recipe version looks like. So this one right here is the recipe. You can see that it's really different from the original photo coming out of the camera without the recipe. I prefer the blue to be a little bit more teal-like, at least for this recipe purposes. And I have it set up on my camera, so every time when I take a photo of a bright sky with a blue sky without that many clouds, you can see that the colors will turn teal. So this is one of the photos that will tell you the biggest difference between the straight out of the camera without recipe and with recipe. So these two are another example of using just negative film simulation on the Ricoh GR3 on your left hand side, and then the recipe that I put in on the camera on the right hand side. The reason why I can do this side-by-side comparison is this is one of the biggest features of the GR3, also available in Fujifilm cameras, that you can develop the raw photos. If you choose to take raw photos in camera, you can actually change the settings of your film simulation, just like how I did on this picture right here. So you can get the recipe on your photos after you've taken the photos, as long as you have taken raw when you are taking a photo. It can be raw only or raw plus JPEG. So if you have some raw photos, you can definitely try out this recipe on your existing photos already, so you don't have to do too much to go out and take more photos. So you can see that I have a lot of teals going on the blue things on the picture, and then the orange really pops. And I love having this higher contrast with the highlight a little bit brighter, a little bit more blown out, because I think a lot of film photos actually have this kind of effect where the highlights are sometimes blown out and the higher contrast. So I don't know why, again, the film simulation, the negative film simulation with auto white balance, it turns out to be a little bit more magenta to my eyes, but correct me if I'm doing anything wrong. It was just film simulation, negative film, and auto white balance, but it's still a little bit more magenta. All right, this is another photo of negative film simulation on your left-hand side, no adjustment, and then negative film simulation with my recipe on the right-hand side. You can see the high contrast and less magenta. You can tell that the ground, it's not as pink magenta-ish. It's almost like weird color kind of mud. Compared to the right side, it's a little bit more natural. Of course, I've added some tint on it so it doesn't look like brown, like super normal, but then to me it adds the vibe of the picture. And usually what happens is with this kind of photos, after I use the film recipe, not simulation, the recipe, I will crop the photo into a tighter, I'll cut the top and bottom so it will look more like a movie kind of aspect ratio. It can be the X-Pen 65:24 even, that is really extreme. Just a strip in the middle, so I can remove some distracting stuff or something that is not too important in the photo. I will show you guys examples of those as well. So this is the recipe. So let's quickly jump onto the camera and I'll show you the recipe and the settings that you need to pay attention at when you are using this recipe for your photos on your GR3. Oh, by the way, I am planning to make a video to show you guys how I use the Ricoh GR3 with my recipe and Snapseed on the smartphones to make your photo look a little bit more film-like, just like this. So if you guys are interested in learning how to do this with just the Ricoh GR3 straight out of the camera, JPEG, put it into your phone, iPhone, Android, using Snapseed with this preset, let me know in the comment section below. Again, all the presets are gonna be free. Just copy my settings. I don't care, I'm not selling you presets. But let me know, yeah, I really like this preset that I've developed on Snapseed with the Ricoh GR3 JPEGs. So yeah, let's jump into the video with the recipe. One thing I really love about the Ricoh GR3 or even GR2 or any like point and shoot cameras, including this Sony ZV-1, is I can actually play back the photos and videos without turning on the lens, so it doesn't stick out while I'm looking at the photos. I can just press and hold the play button and it will show me the image without sticking out the lens. So that's something that I really like. Here I have an image. This is before using the recipe, and this is more of like a slower shutter speed. You can see that it was like 0.5 seconds because I wanted to have the motion blur. And let me try to apply the recipe onto this image. So I just need to press onto menu, raw development, and here I have everything. So I'm going to set up the white balance first, and as I said, it should be G14A14. You can tell that it's already changing the mood of the photo a lot. So after setting up the auto white balance, I'm gonna go to the film simulation, which they call image control. I think film simulation sounds way better, but it's okay. You know what it means. So the saturation is gonna be +2. The hue is gonna be -1. High-low key adjustment is gonna be +2. Whoops. And contrast is gonna be +1, which is the same. And highlight contrast is going to be +3. Shadow contrast is going to be all the way to -4, because if I push it to the right side, it's going to make these shadows really contrasty, and I don't really like that, at least for my taste. And then I have Sharpness is 0, shading is going to be -2, and clarity is also going to be -2. That's it. That's how you can apply the recipe onto your existing raw photo in camera. If I tap on execute, it will just process and develop this photo. I can go to finish. This is the finished product. I'll probably show you guys in this on the computer screen as well. This is before the recipe. This is after. Super moody, right? Compared to before, after. So that's it. This is currently my favorite Ricoh GR3 recipe that I use almost all the time, and I have it set to YouTube, which is my user settings. And I hope you guys like this recipe and like this kind of videos. Let me know in the comment section below if you have your favorite recipe that you want to share with us. I would love to learn that from you. And if you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.